Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
China is stealing solar panel jobs from American workers. Will Trump send a tough trade message? All along the campaign trail, then-candidate Donald Trump emphasized how China has been aggressively manipulating its own currency in order to shadily gain an upper hand economically. And now the communist regime has been exposed for colluding to steal American jobs, particularly in the solar industry, which the International Trade Commission, ITC, is pushing now President Trump to address, and quickly. According to recent reports, the ITC has presented the president with a solid case proving that China's solar manufacturing companies have been colluding with one another, all with the blessing of the country's communist government, to steal technical, strategic, and financial data from American solar firms in order to illicitly. In the process, they've been effectively thieving jobs away from blue-collar American workers, many of whom voted for Donald Trump based on his platform of America First. The case shows that China's solar manufacturing industry's illicit actions have been a substantial cause of serious injury to the domestic, solar, industry. The ITC was able to collect substantial evidence showing that the Communist Party's 11th, 12th, and 13th five-year plans all unequivocally called for China to target and capture the solar power market, using any means necessary. Evidence of this is so indisputable, in fact, that the ITC voted unanimously back in September to make a definitive declaration, which now sits on the president's desk for review, and hopefully swift, responsive action. The Department of Justice, DOJ, has already issued indictments against at least 5 Chinese military officers who were specifically caught in the act of stealing American solar secrets from various corporate networks. After obtaining these secrets, Chinese solar companies were able to develop their own cheap knockoff versions of solar technology using American expertise, which they continue to sell on the American market, often without stating their country of origin. While international trade is a powerful force for economic development and opportunity, letting a communist dictatorship target and destroy one American industry after another, using its military to help, is the exact opposite of free, writes Greg Autry for LifeZ.com, urging the president to put an immediate stop to this anti-American agenda. America needs to enact tariffs, quotas on solar cells and modules coming from China. Despite the endless shipments of Chinese-made products that arrive on America's shores every day, the Chinese dictatorship is hardly a friend of the United States. Back in the fall, it was revealed that China has been shipping in deadly opiate drugs into the U.S. as part of a chemical warfare campaign against Americans, all under the leadership of past presidents like Barack Obama, who did absolutely nothing during his 8-year term to stem the tide of Chinese manufacturers stealing America's intellectual and scientific property. Many are hoping that this type of thing will stop under President Trump, who in no uncertain terms has aggressively brought to the limelight the ongoing threat that is China's constant intrusion into American commerce. What's currently happening with alternative energy, anyway, is costing tens of thousands of Americans their jobs, all the while allowing China to hijack the technology that many of these same Americans helped develop in the first place. Trump should choose the very strongest responses in this case, Autry adds in his condemnation of China's continued actions against American interests. I'd encourage him to enact both a tariff and a quota on imported cells and modules. Doing so will leave no doubt about the outcomes for cheaters in other categories. Regardless of what happens in solar, bold action today will avoid a repetition of this disaster in the future as the Chinese set their targets on additional American industries, including automobiles and airliners, he concludes.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.